In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on January 4th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Florida versus Kentucky. This highly anticipated matchup brings together 2 esteemed Southeastern Conference basketball programs on the hardwood, set against the backdrop of one of the most iconic venues in college basketball, the Bluegrass State's Rupp Arena. On Saturday afternoon, the number 6 Florida Gators will travel up the eastern seaboard to take on the number 10 Kentucky Wildcats. In their most recent contest, Florida delivered a dominant performance at home, cruising to an 85-45 victory over Stetson on Sunday, easily covering the spread as a 38.5-point favorite. Meanwhile, Kentucky showcased their firepower by thoroughly dismantling Brown in an 88-54 rout at home on Tuesday night, similarly covering the spread as 25-point favorites. Historically, Kentucky has controlled the rivalry with a commanding 109-42 lead in the all-time series. However, the Gators claimed a thrilling 94-91 overtime victory on the road in their last meeting on January 31st, 2024, proving they are capable of competing in the Wildcats' den. Florida enters this matchup riding the momentum of the longest active winning streak in the nation, but winning in Rupp Arena presents a formidable challenge, regardless of a team's pedigree. The Gators face a resilient Kentucky team that has leaned heavily on experienced transfers this season, a notable departure from the traditional freshman-heavy rosters seen during the John Calipari era. Last year, Kentucky ranked 196th among Division I teams in experience, but this season, they've catapulted to 4th in that category, according to Ken Palm Analytics. Despite this improvement, Florida's dominance this season has been remarkable, with no game decided by fewer than 13 points. While that streak may be tested here, the Gators' overall performance and consistency give them an edge. So the Florida Gators to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This matchup has all the ingredients to be an offensive showcase, with both teams boasting top 10 scoring offenses in the nation. Their ability to rebound effectively and shoot at a high level will put their defensive capabilities to the test. Florida ranks 9th in offensive efficiency, 61st in effective field goal percentage, 56th in turnover percentage, and a remarkable 2nd in offensive rebounding percentage. They also play at a brisk pace, ranking 80th in adjusted tempo with an average of 70.8 possessions per game. Kentucky, on the other hand, is close behind, ranking 11th in offensive efficiency, 41st in effective field goal percentage, an impressive 2nd in turnover percentage, and 43rd in adjusted tempo with 72 possessions per game. Last season, these 2 teams demonstrated their offensive prowess by averaging a combined 178.5 points across their 2 meetings. This year, their scoring remains electric, with Florida and Kentucky averaging a combined 176 points per game. Both teams are efficient shooters, each hitting over 47% from the field and averaging more than 9 3-pointers per game. According to Ken Palm metrics, Kentucky ranks 43rd in tempo and 11th in adjusted offensive efficiency, while Florida ranks 80th in tempo and 9th in adjusted offensive efficiency. These statistics highlight the up-tempo style of play both teams employ and their ability to capitalize on each possession. Kentucky has scored 88 or more points in 3 of their last 5 games and in 8 games overall this season. Meanwhile, Florida has surpassed 83 points in each of their last 6 games, averaging an impressive 89 points per contest during that stretch. Notably, the over has hit in the last 4 matchups between these 2 rivals. With both teams showcasing prolific offenses and a fast pace of play, expect a high-scoring affair that exceeds the projected total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Duke versus SMU. On Saturday, two undefeated teams in Atlantic Coast Conference play will face off as the number 4 Duke Blue Devils take on the SMU Mustangs. This will be the first meeting between these two programs since 1988, largely due to the fact that this is SMU's inaugural season in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Duke enters this matchup after an impressive 88-65 victory over Virginia Tech in their most recent game, although they did not cover the 24.5-point spread as the favorites. On the other hand, SMU just concluded their final non-conference game with a 98-82 win over Longwood, but like Duke, they also failed to cover the spread, missing the 18.5-point margin as home favorites. SMU has quietly been performing well in the Atlantic Coast Conference, much like their football team this season, and they've racked up some impressive victories along the way. They have already defeated tough opponents such as Washington State, Virginia, LSU, and Boston College. The Mustangs are a balanced team, with 5 players averaging double-digit points, which gives them the depth necessary to keep the game against Duke competitive without relying on just one player to shoulder the scoring load. SMU has covered the spread in 5 of their last 6 games, and now they get the benefit of playing at home rather than traveling to the hostile environment of Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke's freshman players still have something to prove in terms of consistently beating quality teams on the road, while SMU heads into this contest on a 7-game winning streak, showing no signs of slowing down. Given the circumstances, the spread for Duke in this game feels excessively high, especially when considering that they'll be playing in a challenging road environment. While I do believe the Blue Devils are a legitimate threat this season, I also feel that the Mustangs have demonstrated that they can play at a high level and pose a significant challenge right from the start. SMU has been on a remarkable 7-game winning streak, and it's clear they're not to be underestimated. Statistically speaking, SMU has advantages in several key areas going into this game. They outperform Duke in field goal percentage, 3-point shooting, and rebound rate. While it's true that the Mustangs' numbers may be somewhat inflated due to facing a lighter schedule, they've still proven themselves to be a capable and competitive team this season. Their all-around performance suggests they're ready to take on a team like Duke and hold their own. Duke is undeniably a strong team and will likely be near the top of the Atlantic Coast Conference standings as they usually are. However, SMU is playing with the same kind of under-the-radar success that their football team enjoyed this past season, and they're poised to surprise people in the conference. If this game were being played at Cameron Indoor, I would have an easier time siding with Duke, but with the atmosphere at Moody Coliseum sure to be electric, I think SMU will be able to stay competitive. While they may not be able to pull off an outright upset, SMU is a deep team filled with experienced players, and they should be able to keep the game close at the very least. So the SMU Mustangs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. SMU's up-tempo style of play and relatively weak defense are likely to push this game toward an over. The Mustangs play at a much faster pace than Duke, ranking 71st out of 364 teams in pace of play, and they're unlikely to alter their strategy for this matchup. With the game being held at home, SMU will look to control the pace from the start, and their veteran guards, including Miller and Harris, will not be intimidated by facing a ranked opponent. Additionally, SMU's defense is their weakest link, ranking just 95th in the nation in defensive efficiency. They will be up against a Duke offense that ranks 10th in efficiency and is capable of dominating around the basket. Duke's Isaiah Evans has emerged as another scoring threat from the outside, which only opens up the floor further for Flagg and Neupel to drive. Duke has scored 82 or more points in each of their last 2 games, while SMU has exceeded that by posting at least 98 points in each of their last 2 contests. SMU is an exciting team to watch, playing a fast-paced game with excellent offensive execution. They rank 12th in the nation in points per game and are in the top 24 in both field goal percentage and 3-point shooting. The Mustangs also rank 20th in adjusted offensive efficiency, putting up 119 points per 100 possessions, and they are 72nd in adjusted tempo, using 70.9 possessions per 40 minutes. Duke also boasts a top-tier offense, ranking 10th in adjusted offensive efficiency with an impressive 121 points per 100 possessions. Given that the game is being played at SMU's home court, I believe the Mustangs will be able to dictate the pace of play, forcing Duke to keep up with their up-tempo style. This should result in a high-scoring affair. In my opinion, the total for this game is too low. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Michigan versus Southern California. It's a highly anticipated matchup between two Big Ten teams as they face off in search of a crucial victory in the heart of Los Angeles. The Michigan Wolverines, currently on the road, are set to take on the Southern California Trojans in a Saturday night showdown. Michigan comes into this game after a dominant 112-64 victory over Western Kentucky at home this past Sunday, easily covering the spread as a 21-point favorite. Meanwhile, Southern California enters this contest fresh off a commanding 82-51 win over Southern on December 22nd, also covering the line as a 15.5-point favorite. This marks the first ever meeting between these two programs on the hardwood as Division I opponents, making it a historic event for both teams. One of the key challenges for Southern California in this matchup will be figuring out how to defend Michigan's big men, Golden and Wolf, on the offensive end. Golden stands at an imposing 7'1", while Wolf is just an inch shorter at 7 feet tall. In contrast, Southern California does not have a player taller than Cohen, who is 6'10" and has averaged roughly 17 minutes per game this season. The Trojans have primarily relied on a small ball lineup, with their top three players, Claude, Thomas, and Agbo, seeing the most minutes. If Golden and Wolf get off to a strong start, Southern California could find themselves in a tough spot. Michigan has proven to be highly effective in terms of shooting, which puts added pressure on the Trojans defensively. Southern California will need to step up their defense significantly if they hope to slow down Michigan's offensive attack. Southern California enters this game hoping to extend their current winning streak to 5 games. During their 4-game streak, the Trojans have managed to hold their opponents to 63 points or fewer in 3 of those contests. However, it's worth noting that Southern California's schedule so far has been relatively easy, and their biggest victory may have come against Washington. Michigan, on the other hand, has already secured 2 wins against ranked opponents, and they are a perfect 2-0 in conference play, having defeated Iowa and Wisconsin. The Wolverines have been exceptional offensively, shooting over 51% from the field and averaging 84 points per game. However, their defense has struggled in recent losses, allowing 87 and 89 points in their last 2 defeats. Despite the long travel and the tough road environment, Michigan is clearly the superior team in this matchup, and I believe they will eventually pull away in the second half. Even with the challenge of playing on the road, the Wolverines have the size advantage and the superior overall team, making them the pick for this game. So, the Michigan Wolverines to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Defensively, Michigan has been impressive this season, ranking 11th in the nation in defensive efficiency. The Wolverines are 16th in effective field goal percentage defense, 92nd in forced turnover percentage, 26th in field goal percentage defense, 27th in 2-point defense, and 55th in 3-point defense for the season. On the offensive end, Michigan is 5th in field goal percentage, 4th in 2-point shooting, and they rank 340th in turnover percentage this season. Southern California, meanwhile, ranks 80th in defensive efficiency, 102nd in effective field goal percentage defense, and 68th in forced turnover percentage. The Trojans have been strong defensively this season, holding their opponents to under 70 points in 5 straight games leading up to this one. Southern California has also only allowed more than 75 points once all season, in a peculiar game against Arlington early in the year. While Michigan's defense has been somewhat vulnerable in recent losses, they put together solid defensive performances in their last 2 games, allowing just 61 points per game. The Wolverines have shown the ability to defend effectively against top-tier competition, as evidenced by their efforts against Xavier and Wisconsin, where they limited their opponents to just 53 and 64 points, respectively. Both teams are known for their balanced offensive approach, and it's unlikely that any one player will dominate the scoring to the extent that would push the total score to unexpected heights. If Southern California can force Michigan into turnovers and mistakes, this game could stay under the projected total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas versus Texas Agricultural and Mechanical, a pair of schools, both of which belong to the Southeastern Conference and call the Lone Star State their home, are set to square off in what promises to be an exciting college basketball matchup as they aim for a conference victory. The Texas Longhorns will make the short in-state trip to face off against the number 13 ranked Texas Agricultural and Mechanical Aggies on Saturday night. In their most recent contest, Texas secured a dominant 77-53 victory over Northwestern State at home last Saturday. However, despite the win, they failed to cover the spread as a hefty 28.5-point favorite. Meanwhile, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical enjoyed an equally convincing win, steamrolling Abilene Christian 92-54 at home in their previous game on Saturday, covering the spread as 20.5-point favorites. Historically, Texas holds the upper hand in the all-time series between the two programs with an 80-59 record. The Longhorns also won their most recent meeting, a 60-50 victory in Fort Worth, Texas, back on December 8, 2019. Although Texas Agricultural and Mechanical's shooting numbers haven't been particularly impressive this season, they have faced a much tougher non-conference schedule compared to Texas. According to KenPom, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical's strength of schedule ranks 48th in the nation, while Texas sits all the way down at 360th. The Aggies have proven themselves in tough competition, securing wins over notable teams such as Purdue, Texas Tech, Rutgers, and Creighton, all away from home. A key player for Texas Agricultural and Mechanical is veteran guard Taylor, who stands out as one of the best in the Southeastern Conference. Taylor's experience and ability to play within the Aggies' deliberate and slow tempo give Texas Agricultural and Mechanical a significant edge. On the other hand, the Longhorns have 5 new starters and have breezed through a relatively easy schedule, which could eventually catch up to them, especially considering they've only played one true road game so far this season. While the Texas Longhorns certainly have a lot of talent and could be intriguing as an underdog, they haven't yet faced significant challenges this season. The Longhorns have primarily played a softer schedule and have been favored in many of their games. In fact, they haven't been underdogs since March, meaning they've been far from battle-tested up until now. Regardless, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical's defense is well equipped to make things difficult for the Longhorns, and being at home, where the Aggies remain undefeated this season, adds to their advantage. The Aggies have allowed fewer than 70 points in 5 consecutive games, covering the spread in each of those games. Notably, a couple of those covers came in outright wins as underdogs. At this point in the season, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical appears to be the more reliable and proven team. The line for this game is not overly surprising, and regardless of the outcome, this game will provide valuable insight into the Longhorns' ability to perform on the road. So the Texas Agricultural and Mechanical Aggies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Texas Longhorns are a highly efficient shooting team, and their defensive capabilities are also impressive. They currently rank 29th in defensive efficiency, 21st in effective field goal percentage defense, 108th in forced turnover percentage, 32nd in field goal percentage defense, and 13th in two-point defense this season. The Longhorns play at a relatively slow pace, ranking 232nd in adjusted tempo with an average of 67.5 possessions per game. On the other hand, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical excels defensively as well, ranking 6th in defensive efficiency, 19th in effective field goal percentage defense, 43rd in forced turnover percentage, 14th in field goal percentage defense, 57th in two-point defense, and 29th in three-point defense for the season. The Aggies are not known for a fast-paced game either, ranking 238th in adjusted tempo with 67.4 possessions per game. Both teams rank in the bottom tier of the country in terms of adjusted tempo, with Texas at 232nd and Texas Agricultural and Mechanical at 233rd. This suggests that, while there will be some transition during the game, neither team will play at a very fast pace. Texas Agricultural and Mechanical, known for their defense, has seen the total score go under in 4 of their last 5 games, a trend that highlights their defensive dominance. Over the last 5 games, the Aggies have allowed an average of just 55.2 points per contest. While Texas is a strong shooting team, their relatively weak schedule has inflated their impressive numbers. This game is expected to be a defensive battle, where both teams will lean heavily on their defensive strengths. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.